Hello and welcome to another edition of the Wildcat Walkthrough. I am Cedric Bailey, and it's now time to talk to the head coach of the Dunbar Wildcats, and that is Coach Todd Lawson. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm fine, Cedric. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be able to talk to you. How was your bye week?
Bye week was good, man. Got some rest. Got some guys. Got a couple of guys back, and kind of worked on some things we need to really be working on. So, it was a good week. Got a lot of things out of the way and let them know, hey, from here on out, it counts. So it's time to make the run.
Who are some of the players that are returning back that were out?
Okay, well, we got some guys that were just injured. Brandon has been out. He hadn't played any this year with Brandon Lewis, a receiver that we have. He's a senior, so he'll be back, and we hopefully will have King ready to go. That week off help him. Tylen went down, so Tylen White should be back. Our linebacker should be back. So hopefully we get them back. Because those will be some guys that I know that can really help us.
All right. The last time we talked, it was on a Friday night. We were at Hanley Field, and it was against OD Wyatt. Of course, you had your 3 games, and that was a non-conference game or non-district game, and it got canceled because of rain, 21-8, and we knew the storm was coming. What did you get positive out of that game against?
Right before they called us, we had drove back down, got back in the red zone, so really was gonna make it a game. They were going through some injuries, so really they were kind of doing some things that what we weren't familiar with. But I knew it just matter of time for us to catch up. And then right before they stopped, and we was down in the red zone, but hopefully be able to score. That kind of would have put some pressure on them where they would have had to do some things on offense, and will put us in a pretty good position to come back and win that game. So, but it is what it is. That was a preseason game, so they pretty much went ahead and called. If that would have been like a district game, we would end up coming back that next morning and completing that game out. So,
yeah.
But the kids fought hard, and they kept fighting and things like that. So that's all you can ask them to do, is just keep fighting.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you told us about that quarterback. They had 2 different quarterbacks, and that one guy, I'm trying to remember what his number was, but he was phenomenal. He was pretty good.
Yeah. They had some good athletes in there. Guys come in, and then they kind of switched it up again because he got in. He ended up breaking his hand or something like that. So they ended up bringing another guy in, and then that could pretty much changed the whole complexity of their offense. So, and they just kind of got us on some surprise stuff because we kind of had them pinned up at one end, and then they kind of ran some plays and kind of was able to outflank us. So they kind of got us in a situation. So, but hopefully that is what it is. You just kind of tell it to kids, but if we just take care of our business early on, the game, we'll be fine.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we was able to get that game, and now we're able to concentrate on our next opponent. And by the way, I want to say again, your running back, that Ben Smith boy, he's something else. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he runs hard, and he's going to compete. So he's going to do whatever he needs to do to try to be successful. So that's the kind of guy you want to hand that ball off to.
Your linebacker, was it Yarborough?
Yeah, yes. Don Eric plays a nose tackle. We kind of moves him around on that D line. He had a good game as well. So that defense really coming along. They coming along. So we got some young guys that we implemented in there. So they're gonna be pretty strong, with this district run. They'll be really strong.
All right. So this game is on Thursday night. We're gonna be at Clark Stadium, and we're playing Diamond Hill Jarvis. I looked at their schedule, and they're 0-3, and you guys, were off last week. Just like were they off last week too? They were.
Yes, our whole district was off last week. Yes,
that's what I thought, and that is class 4A, region 2, district 6. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. And I see a lot of these schools are going to be going up against each other. I was looking at the other opponents on the agenda. I think I saw Eastern Hills is going to be playing Kennedale, and that's going to be on Friday night as well. Is that correct?
That's going to be a big game as well. Yes.
Yeah. So what do we know about Diamond Hill Jarvis? How do you prepare for a team like this?
Coach Cruz, he's got him, he got him working hard. And really, what I'm looking for our team is that, like I told man, we need to start fast. We need to have people to come when we play with them, play against them. They need to come, get to our speed of the game. As the game goes along, we kind of speed it up as they go. But with them, I'm just kind of using it as a measuring stick for us to come hit the game, start the game out fast. And like I tell them, in order for us to be successful with the teams that we got to play, we got to start the game fast. You can't dig yourself a hole and then expect to win, because teams are they're just too good for that.
Gotcha. Now I was looking at the schedule. So on this Thursday, you have Diamond Hills Jarvis, and then next Thursday, you're gonna be playing Western Hills.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
gonna be where's that game gonna be at?
That's gonna be at Farrington.
All right. That's not homecoming. Homecoming
No.
is when?
Homecoming to be I think it's what, October the 20th, and that'll be against Castleberry.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's right. That's what we have lined up.
Mhm.
Western Hills on next Thursday, and then the following that, you got Carter Riverside. That's going to be coming up. And where is that game going to be at?
That one, if I'm not mistaken, it may be Hanley. I don't have the schedule right in front of me. What's I do right here? Hold on. That'll be at it'll be at Hanley. Carter Riverside will be at Hanley.
Okay, and then on October the 14th, that's is that a Saturday game?
Yes, that'll be a Saturday game. That'll be an early morning game for that against Eastern Hills.
At Farrington Field?
Yes.
Okay. And then homecoming will be against River Oaks Castleberry.
Yeah.
That's on October the 20th.
Yes.
And that day, that game, what day of the week is that on? That's on a Friday night, right?
That's on a Friday. Yeah, at Clark Stadium. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we better be ready for that one because you know they're gonna be showing up for that. And then also you got Lake Worth, and that game will be on October the 27th. That's gonna be at their place.
Yes, it'll be at Lake Worth High School. Yes, at their stadium right there on their campus.
All right, and then and last but not least, it'll be Kennedale.
Yes.
That will be in Kennedale.
Yeah, it'll be at Farrington Field. It'll be here. That'll be we're doing a double hitter. That'll be on that Thursday, but we're playing them at 8:00. We're kind of doing a double hitter because that's the last game of the year, and we didn't want to. Really, we were scheduled to play them on a Saturday, and we didn't want to play on that Saturday due to the playoffs, because normally those games would be that Thursday. So wanted to give ample enough time, and guys can go out and kind of scout teams and stuff like that. So we just got that Thursday game, that late Thursday game.
All right. Meanwhile, let's talk about your upcoming programs and everything. We already know how many you have on the roster now. What do you got on varsity? 30 what?
Right about 30, between 35, 38. It kind of fluctuates, but it's right there at those numbers. And on the sub bus, I got 45 down there, which they're doing real well. We do this during this bye week. We end up playing Kennedale. Mm-hmm. We went ahead and played Kennedale, so we don't have to worry about them at the end of the year in case we bring guys up, and that'll kind of help us. And sub bus was able to beat Kennedale over at Kennedale, so that was a good step forward. They did play very well, so it's 45 down on that level.
I got you. That's pretty good. So
yeah.
Is that a good number? Is that a large number?
Yeah, that's that's larger than what I normally have down there. We got a bunch of good kids down there, and a bunch of young kids. So my thing now, we just got to keep that growing, because I told them y'all accomplished something, man. It hadn't been accomplished. Y'all was able to beat Kennedale. That puts them at 3-1. They lost a very close game against Ponder a few weeks ago. So and that was one of the close games that they've been in, but they pretty much have beat everybody else by a few touchdowns. So, but Kennedale game ended up being 12-8.
Okay, and I got on that part. Now, what about the JV game? Did y'all play them already on is there a game on Wednesday night, by the way?
Yes, they play. Actually, they'll be playing what is Wednesday. They'll be playing Wednesday evening. Well, Diamond Hill doesn't have a sub varsity. So we're going to my JV will be playing Boswell. Boswell's coming over to Dunbar to play us.
Well, that's good. See, and I like that. And I'm glad we're talking about this, because you're trying to get the next group ready for.
Yeah. And it really helped us. I like the coach over there. He really, said he would come over and do that. And that's good for us, because that's a program. And like I said, when we say, like I tell those kids been playing together ever since they've been in middle school. A lot of them has been, little league together. So they'll come in. I say they're gonna know what they're going to do. So it's gonna be a good game, and it's kind of a measuring stick for us to kind of see how our young kids match up with them.
Now, on the sub varsity, is that all sophomores and some juniors?
I got mostly freshmen and sophomores on that team. I don't have I have one junior down there, but he's coming up. The only reason he was down there we're waiting on his eligibility paperwork to go through.
I got you. Because some schools have freshman teams too as well, but you're able to get your freshmen to play with the JV.
Yeah, they play up, and sometimes we don't have that many of my freshmen, but some school may call and say, hey, man, I got a small number of freshman kids, and I can kind of put them together and, hey, let's go over here and get a game with just the freshmen. So sometimes we do that with OD Wyatt as well. They'll call and say, hey, man, I need to get a game in, and we'll kind of, they pretty much know I can mix up, I can put together a team. I just don't like to go out there and play a big, I don't want to take freshmen, go out there and play a team of 40.
Yeah, I got you.
Especially when my kids are just having to go both ways and things like that. So we just kind of mix them in there. And I know the ones that have experience, they'll rise up. And then the ones that just need a little bit more, coaching and stuff like that, help to understand the game.
Yeah.
I
I was
tell
just
the
wondering.
coaches,
I
huh?
was just wondering about that because I know, like for example, I know Coach Lynn over there at Crowley. This is his first year in Carlos Lynn, and when we were talking to them because we carry them on BGC also, they have a varsity and then they have a JV A team, a JV B team, and then
Yeah.
they have a freshman A team and a freshman B. And I was
Yeah.
just wondering, they're loaded over there, but when we look at Fort Worth, how many teams do we have? So that's the question. At least you're able to get them in the schedule and
Yeah.
get the playing time.
And like I say, like Carlos, he can call. He'll be like, you may catch him on the week. They're playing about. I can call and say, hey man, we need, hey, oh yeah, I got a good freshman team. I got a freshman bunch. And actually, I've done that. Last year we did that. We went over to Crowley and played them. Just to make sure we get some experience in for our kids. Just make sure they're playing. To make like a freshman team. Hey man, we can go over there and play them and stuff like that. Get them. Well, we can kind of look at them and analyze them and stuff like that. And like I tell the parent. I'll tell the coach, they may say, hey, well, my son didn't play a lot against, say a Kennedale, which I know, hey, that's a little experienced team,
Yeah.
So we kind of try to save them as much as we can, protect them and things like that. And then, hey, they with some more younger kids, B level kids as they are, then it's fine to put them out there and just let them play. But we just making sure that we protect for the safety of our kids, and other coaches do it as well. We play people now, and they'll tell me, hey, they're not as, and we know going in what we need to do and stuff like that.
All right, we're talking with head coach of the Dunbar Wildcats. Our matchup is on this Thursday night against Diamond Hill Jarvis. Now I'm gonna shift a moment. Now I need to ask you a question. Was number one, was you late for church on Sunday morning after staying up late watching Dion and them play? I mean, you've never watched the college football that game late at
Now,
night.
when I watched it, because I knew, I knew it was gonna be. At first, I knew it was gonna be a good game, and I was kind of. It was kind of a measuring stick where you can kind of see are people kind of really figuring out. But what's really going to happen is you're going to find out how good Shadur, his son, really is.
What'd you think when you saw him?
Yeah, how good. My thing is, and it's gonna be again this week. It's gonna be a measuring stick because now teams are kind of analyzing to see what they do, what they're trying to do on offense. So he's gonna have to go against what he's comfortable with doing, and he did a good job. They had him going the first half, but then he figured it out, and he was able to accomplish and do some things. So man, he's gonna be something special.
Are your kids watching what they're doing? Do you hear them talking about them?
Huh?
Are your kids watching what Coach Prime is doing?
Yeah. And a lot of times we pull up his excerpts, and when he talk, things that his speeches that he's saying, and that's a good thing about it because we've been, we're saying it, but then when Dion, he's making sure that he recording a lot of things that he's doing and saying. That makes it easier for us because we say it, and then you can put something up there with Dion, and he's saying the same thing to a little bit older kids, holding his own kids accountable for, hey, you late to practice, hey, you get here. Yeah, I said 7:00, but 7:10, you're here after 7:10, you're really late. Just to hear those things like that kind of get your kids to understand the expectations of when you leave, the importance of being on time.
Yeah.
The importance of taking care of your business. Like I was just saying that this morning to a kid. I say, out of all the things that you've heard Dion say, I say they haven't repeated that the football players had the highest GPA in the history of at Colorado.
Yeah.
This past year, the past semester. See,
wow.
You don't hear that. I say right there, and I told the kid, I said that says a lot of character about those kids, because those kids going to school, doing what they got to do, and going in there and putting the time in practice. And I said that takes a lot of your time, and a lot of people don't want to give that time, but that's a lot of your basically, you feel like your personal time, but as an athlete, that's a lot of time that they're taking and they're accounting for. But you didn't hear that, but I thought that was a great thing he pointed on this past weekend about the GPA of his football team.
Yep. Well, it was an exciting game, and I like what he did. He got his kicker that he had at Jackson State.
Yeah, Mata. I know his name now, Mata. Yeah. And he did. I mean, he came right on in and kicked. Hey, he already earned him a scholarship, so now you can earn you a starting position. Now, just think about it. NFL guys going to be looking at that kicker like, wait a minute now. You know, he was at Jackson State. He came over there and brought him in a pressure situation where he had to make the kicks, and
Yeah.
he did the job. You
Yeah,
know,
he
he
said,
did the job. So
and the
you know
coach.
that's in itself. That's an encouragement of hard work. You know, dedication to what you're doing.
Well, I'm looking at their schedule. On November the 25th, they go into Utah. Are
Yeah,
you
them
out
youths,
there?
man. I don't know, Shador. I don't know. I'm gonna have to throw a rock out there at him. It's gonna, Utah I'm just hoping that Utah get their quarterback back.
Yeah. So
You know, if they don't, Colorado got a good chance now. It's gonna be a measuring stick when they go against Oregon. That's gonna be a good game. Because Oregon gonna have enough athletes out there to pretty much run with.
yeah.
And then
Well,
you talk about USC gonna be another big one, you know.
yeah. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
College football is here to stay. And also the Dallas Cowboys. I know you watched that game and stuff. So we'll see how they do.
Yeah, man. See, out of all it, and I told one of the kids yesterday, we were talking. I said, out of all the stuff they're saying, nobody's saying nothing about B-enemy. I know it. I know everybody hate Washington, but he's 2-0.
Yes. You know,
Have you heard anything?
oh no, Kansas City, they miss him. I guarantee they miss him.
Yeah. Yeah. They got beat one, and yeah.
Yeah. And everybody, and you tell your young folks, y'all know where he played football at? He was a quarterback. And where did he play at? He played in Boulder for Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? And his time is coming soon.
Yeah.
So they're paying attention. Ron Riviera, you better be glad you got him, because I know one thing, Andy Reid sure miss you.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and when I hate it. They talked about him so bad like that, but I know Andy Reid has somebody who he could trust, and he can kind of pick up where you're leaving off when Andy Reid got to go do some other things like that, because I know how that is. As a head coach, a lot of other things that you entail that you're responsible for that really is outside of that loop of you being intimate with your team.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I enjoyed the conversation. And of course, it's game time, folks. You've been checking out the Wildcat walkthrough, and it's district time playoffs and district run. And let's get started this season. And it's against Diamond Hill, Jarvis, the Eagles. So, Coach, thanks a lot for being with us here on the Wildcat walkthrough, and look forward to talking to you on the next time.
All right. Thank you for having me, Cedric.